Your business growth, your personal growth, your success is going to be outside of that bubble that you're currently in, that comfort zone you're in. What I'm suggesting is pushing yourself just that tiny bit every week, just by 1 degree, is going to help you get consistent growth. And consistency, like I said, is the key here. Well, hey there, and welcome back to the Direct Selling Accelerator Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Hind, and before we dive into this Power Podcast episode today, I want to really encourage you to do what everyone tells you to do when you listen to a podcast, and that is to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming episodes. But seriously, we provide this as a resource to help grow this incredible industry, help you grow your business, and it's a way for us to be able to give back and support you by sharing our knowledge and our experience, so that you might be able to take the steps you need to be able to have the business of your dreams that gets you the results you want with less fuss, less stress, and much more joy. So click that subscribe button, and if you love this episode, please go ahead and share it with a friend as well. Today, I want to speak to you about something that's very close to my heart, and that is about building confidence through consistency. You see, when I started in my business, one of the things that I really struggled with was feeling like I needed to have everything perfect before I got started. Anyone out there who's a little like me and likes to get things perfect? Well, I want to tell you a little secret here. Perfect doesn't happen without a few stumbles along the way. I've been watching my beautiful 21-month-old daughter learn new skills. Literally, it feels like every day at the moment, but in the last 6 months, I've been watching her learning more physical skills. So she learned how to walk, obviously, at 1, and then she started to do things like learning to jump with 2 feet off the ground. She learned to run, and now she is learning to climb out of her cot and escape. But as she's doing all of these fun things and I'm watching this progress, I realized something, that as she is trying each and every one of these skills out for the very first time, she doesn't give it a go once and then flop on the ground and go, well, that didn't work. That's not for me. I guess I'm just not a walker, or I guess I'm not a jumper, or I guess running is just not going to happen in my world and I'm going to stick to crawling. No, she gave it a go. She fell over, she brushed herself off, she got up and she kept going. And here's the thing that I want to remind you of. Just like when you were a child and you were learning to walk and talk and jump and run and play and do all of those fun things, you had to fail a bunch of times before you learnt what it took for you to succeed. Now, fast forward to now, as adults, and especially as we're in business and we're putting ourselves out there, there's this great fear of failing. And that fear of failing means that we're not showing up consistently because we're afraid we're going to get it wrong. Well, that's not how things work. And I want you to think about that person that you're comparing yourself to right now, because I always guarantee that most of the time this comes back to comparison. We look at other people on social media or other people in business that we admire, that we aspire to be more like. And we see them and we think to ourselves, well, I'm not like that person yet, or I don't have what it takes yet, or I don't know how to show up on camera like that person. And so we don't do anything at all. But what we're forgetting is we're comparing our day 1 to that person's day 100 or 1,000. That person that we're comparing ourselves to, that we admire, that we want to aspire to be more like, has been doing what they're doing for a set period of time where they've been through those stumbling blocks and those failures. Now, the great news is we actually don't have to fail to the degree that many people before us did, because people have been out there and given this a go and invented the wheel, and we don't have to reinvent it every time. But that wheel is going to have your character and your personality, which means it's also going to have a little bit of your failure attached to it as well in order for you to be successful. So what do I mean by all this? Because I'm using a lot of cryptic words here. What I mean by this is that we can't compare ourselves when we're starting, when we're trying new things, when we're showing up on social media, when we're growing our business, to somebody who's already been through the hard yards and been through what we're currently going through. But we can learn from those people so we don't necessarily make all of the same mistakes. Now, it's not to say we can skip over any of the hard work, but it is to say that we've got to expect a little bit of challenge as we go. And with failure comes growth. I love the concept of failing forward, using your failures to learn, but embracing them. I had a really amazing guest a few years ago on this podcast, Andrea Waltz, who spoke about go for no. And she applied this same philosophy that I'm talking about when it comes to your social media content to your reach outs, your connections, and your asking for the sale. And she wrote the book and speaks on the concept of go for no, chasing the no's, because with every no, you are one step closer to a yes. Well, let's flip that around and think about your social media content, because with every failure, with every post, you are one step closer to nailing your social media content every single time. So, a couple of really quick things here. I want you to remember that with trying new things, you are going to learn what does and doesn't work. You are far better off being consistent than what you are getting it perfect and doing it rarely. The algorithm on the platforms, doesn't matter which platform you're using or which algorithm I'm referring to here, they're all looking for consistent content. So consistency beats perfection every single day, hands down. And you're going to learn from it as well. The other thing that I want you to know is that consistency builds courage. The more you try, the more you play, the more you practice, the more courageous you're going to feel, and the easier and easier it's going to get to show up. Thinking about that learning to walk, when Addie learnt to walk and she got up on her own 2 feet and she finally realized, I can do this. Suddenly walking wasn't as hard today as it was yesterday. And the next day it was easier again and easier and easier. And it's the same when you show up and you do a live or you create your first reel. The first ones are always going to be challenging. The first 3, 4, 5 might be challenging, but eventually it does get a lot easier. And before you know it, it feels like second nature. So a couple of really quick things here. Don't wait for confidence to arrive, because you will be waiting a very long time. Instead of thinking I'll do it when I feel ready, set yourself an intention to show up a certain amount of times per week. And maybe do a few posts or create a few pieces of content in your business that feel comfortable, and challenge yourself to do one thing that's uncomfortable. I love the quote that life begins where your comfort zone ends. This is so true. Your business growth, your personal growth, your success is going to be outside of that bubble that you're currently in, that comfort zone you're in. Now, it doesn't mean that we need to be so uncomfortable that we don't know which way is up and we freeze and we're overwhelmed. I get that can be a really difficult place to be in. And I know we've all been there from time to time where we're so uncomfortable in a situation, we don't know which way to turn. That's not what I'm suggesting here. What I'm suggesting is pushing yourself just that tiny bit every week, just by 1 degree, is going to help you get consistent growth. And consistency, like I said, is the key here. So instead of thinking I'll do it when I feel ready, commit yourself to a certain number of posts per week. Plan it into your calendar, because if you don't plan your week, it will plan you. Your week will take over you. So stop and think about, when are you going to do it? And give yourself just a little bit of pushing, just a little bit of trying new things. So maybe for you this week, that new thing is, I'm going to attempt to do a reel for the first time, or I'm going to do a video and I haven't done any video content, or you're going to do a little bit of research and learn a new skill. Or maybe you're going to do a piece of content that you know works for your audience, but you've been scared to do it, like sharing a personal story or a little thought, or doing a live. So all of those things are going to help you if you're consistently pushing that comfort zone just a little bit. The next thing is that the more consistent you are, the easier it's going to get So set yourself those basics, but then push yourself each week to ask, what's the next 1 degree shift I can make with this? What's the next thing that I can do to build that courage and build that confidence? I also want to give you a quick little tip here, and that is to borrow some courage where you feel scared. It's really okay when you're showing up on social media and you're maybe putting a bit more focus on yourself, which is, by the way, what you should do. If you've been listening to any of my content, you know that I am an absolute believer in you showing up first, because people are not buying your product, they're not buying your business until first they've bought you. So maybe you've heard me say this and you've thought to yourself, this sounds really scary and I don't really know what to do here. I don't want to show up because I don't think people want to hear from me. Maybe that's where you need to push your comfort zone just a little bit and remember that being present over perfect is the key. So what could you do to personally show up over this next 7 days off the back of listening to this podcast episode, where you start to share a little more of your journey, who you are, and building that, not only that courage and confidence muscle, but also building that relationship, because when people feel like they can connect with you, they feel more like they trust you. And you know what? That at the end of the day is what this is all about. So could you share a little story? Could you do a little live? Could you take people behind the scenes? Or could you simply share what you do in the business or a favorite product and how you use it? Whatever that is, there's no right or wrong here except not doing it. That's the wrong thing to do. So what's a little action plan that you could follow here? I want to leave you with some things that you can put into place off the back of listening to this, because really, I could talk myself till I'm blue in the face, but what I really want you to understand is this is not about getting it right. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up, being consistent, and knowing this, because I know it in my heart of hearts. If you show up regularly and consistently, the confidence and the courage to keep doing it is going to show up. It won't randomly show up. It'll show up because you do first. So that will follow. Absolutely, hands down, every single time, no question about that. So a couple of quick things. Number one, choose a platform where you're going to consistently show up over these next 7 days. Now, that platform could be Facebook, it could be Instagram. There's no right or wrong here. Again, the wrong would be not doing it. So where are you going to show up? And if you're wondering, where should I show up, Sam? Well, the answer to that is, where is your audience? If you're not sure yet, let's just start with one thing. Pick something, anything. It could be a personal profile. If you're already using a personal profile, let's start there. But if you want to dig a little deeper and you want to ask yourself, where is my audience? Start with that. Maybe that might be Instagram. Maybe it's in groups. Maybe it's a business page. Where's my audience? How do I show up? Next up, pick a strategy that's new to try this week. So yes, do some comfortable things, do some stuff that you're used to doing, but pick one new strategy that you haven't tried for a while. Maybe you've never tried it, or it's a strategy that you've been avoiding because it feels uncomfortable. So give a new strategy a try this week. So pick a platform, pick a new strategy, and then select a number of days that you're going to show up this week. So select a commitment that you're going to commit to. Make sure though, this is key, that you set yourself up for success. So if that commitment is, I'm going to do 5 posts this week and one of them is going to be trying something new, make sure that you lock it in. Set yourself up so you know you can do it. Don't just randomly put a number out there and wait to see if the time finds you, because it won't. You need to get that locked into your calendar. Allow yourself 10, 15 minutes a day to get this post happening and lock it in. Maybe allow more time if you need to, or alternatively, you could do what I do and sit down for an hour or two on one day of the week, plan all of that content out and get it scheduled ready to rock and roll, so that when life happens, you don't have to randomly think of something on the fly. So pick a platform, pick something new to push yourself with this week, and commit yourself to a certain number of posts that you are going to do, so that you are being consistent, knowing that the courage is going to follow. Last but not least, track what you're up to. Track it, and if I'm going to give you a little tip here, don't just track the success of the content you create. That's very important. You want to track and measure if people are connecting, if they're responding, if they're looking at it. Is this working? Isn't it? All of that's very important. But I'm also going to encourage you to track something else because I want you to see your own personal success and growth in this. And sometimes we forget to look back and see how far we've come. So track your confidence level. Start at the beginning of the week. Start from today and jot down a little note about how you feel about showing up online, or how you feel about your business, or how you feel on social media. Write down the fears, the challenges, the emotion around it, because all of that matters. And then at the end of the next 7 days, once you've followed through with your commitment that you're setting with me right here today, 5 posts a week, whatever that might be, it might just be 3. At the end of the 7 days, come back to this and write down how you're feeling now. Because I can almost guarantee you that with consistency, the courage and the confidence will follow every single time. So rather than waiting for perfect, rather than waiting for courage, those are things that come with practice. And remember, do not compare your day 1 to someone else's day 100. Show up consistently and know that just like when you learn to walk and talk and climb out of cots, all of those things got easier the more you did them. I believe in you. I know you can do this. So whatever that thing is for you, if it's a reel, if it's a live, if it's creating a video, if it's simply showing up for the very first time, whatever that looks like, your consistency and your results are going to come from continuously showing up, from continuously reaching out, connecting with people, showing up as you, and of course, developing that courage through practice. So that's it from me today. Really quick power podcast episode. Super simple. At the end of the day, it is not about getting it right. I can share with you all of those strategies, and we do that on this podcast constantly. But today, I just want you to know this. You already have everything you need. I totally believe that you've got everything within you. That you've got everything. I'm getting tongue-tied, aren't I? Everything within you and around you right now to be the most successful version of yourself that you want to be. All you have to do is get resourceful and practice. Remember, life starts at the end of your comfort zone. So have some fun with this. Set yourself a little challenge this week, something that you know you can succeed at, and just show up. That's it. That's all you have to do. So that's it from me. I hope you have an incredible week. Remember, share this with someone else that might need to hear it. And I look forward to seeing you on the podcast again next week. That's it from me. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Direct Selling Accelerator Podcast. If you love listening and you found that this was helpful for your direct selling business, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also check out the recommended video that's popped up on your screen right here. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.